Okay, we're back on track. Yeah, after last week's episode of WandaVision was somewhat disappointing in my opinion, this episode half delivered. Episode 7, titled Breaking the Fourth Wall. So, big time spoilers here, because this episode finally gave us some answers to some of the questions that we've had since day one, and I'm gonna be talking about them here. So if you're not completely caught up on WandaVision and the entire MCU at this point, do not watch this video. Alright, you've been warned, so let's go. And just like 2 weeks ago, there's nothing I want more right now than to just skip right to the end of this episode and talk about that. But patience. We'll get there. So yeah, after the internet problems that Disney Plus was having last night, my friend and I finally got started watching this episode. And I did hear that the last 3 episodes of WandaVision were gonna be like an hour long each, but I did not want to put all my eggs in that basket just in case they weren't. And they aren't. At least this one isn't. This one was the same length as the last one, 37 minutes. But it's okay because, again, this episode delivered on some answers. But when it was starting out, I actually have seen the shows that this episode was spoofing. Modern Family, The Office. I mean, the whole interview thing, that's like Modern Family. But the title sequence totally sounded like The Office. And again, the formatting of the episode, they're single cam now in the interviews. Once again, it felt genuine. Wanda's taking a break from it all. She needs to relax. But now this reality is finally starting to crumble before her eyes. She's losing her grip on this Westview reality. She doesn't know how this is happening, and she doesn't know why she can't fix it herself. Probably because she's not the one doing it. And it's funny, during one of the interviews, you actually hear someone asking her, do you think maybe this is what you deserve? Which spooks Wanda out. She's like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to talk. I was like, what? That was a male voice. Was that Mephisto there? I know, so many people are like, is that Mephisto? Is that Mephisto? I never thought Evan Peters was Mephisto. So there that is. And later in this episode, you see who is interviewing her, but I'll get to that. Elsewhere in Westview, we have Vision's story, because last week the Hex expanded, so now a lot of the Sword agents are now under Wanda's mind control spell, including Darcy Lewis. As coincidence would have it, as part of this Sword circus, she has become an escape artist, so she gets out of those chains easily. But Vision breaks her out of the spell, so they team up. Yeah, we got a team up now of Vision and Darcy, and I actually really like their chemistry, their banter back and forth. It was pretty funny. Darcy actually catches Vision up on his history pre-WandaVision, like everything, how he started off as Jarvis, his body was created by Ultron, he fell in love with Wanda, but Wanda had to blow up the Mind Stone to save the universe, but then Thanos brought him back to life and got the Mind Stone anyway, killing him again. I'm glad that this afterlife version of Vision was caught up on all of that. Things are starting to make a little more sense to him now. But the fact that Darcy brought up that, oh, your love is real, you two belong together, that had me going, okay, is that like relevant to this story at all? Like, I wonder if Vision's gonna be around after WandaVision now. I mean, I kinda doubt it, just for the sake of, you know, the deaths in Infinity War and Endgame, they need to stick, so Vision needs to stay dead, along with Black Widow and Tony Stark. But who knows, Wanda's magic could keep Vision alive for longer. I don't know, we'll see though. So Vision and Darcy are trying to get back to Wanda, but they keep getting stopped by hindrances. And at that point I was like, alright, this is probably the least interesting part of the episode. I mean, even to the point where Vision's like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I sitting here in an interview? That's right, I can fly. So he just takes off, leaving Darcy in the van by herself. So I'm guessing in the next episode, Vision's gonna find the house empty, and then he'll find Agnes, and again, we'll get there. And in this episode, we do meet Monica's contact. So per my predictions last week, I was right on all accounts. Then again, that's what I get for playing it safe. They were easy predictions, so alright, not as much of a W as the other times. But for all of you who were like, it's gonna be Reed Richards, I have one thing to say, and that is, ha! In your face! I knew it wasn't gonna be Reed Richards. Come on. That was just wishful thinking, guys. They're not gonna introduce Reed Richards in WandaVision. Just no. It's gonna be in a movie on the big screen. Just be patient, alright? So we see that Monica's contact was Major Goodner, who I guess is part of a military branch of SWORD. They provide Monica with this heavily armored vehicle, and she's like, alright, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna go back into the Hex. Which they did address what I thought, because in the 4th episode we saw that the Hex just sucked her in. But now it's really hard for even this strong vehicle to get through. What's that all about? Well, Wanda doesn't want people intruding anymore. This vehicle's trying really hard to get through, but it ends up spitting it back out. But then Monica's so determined, she's like, no, I'm getting in if it kills me. So she goes through the barrier, and this is awesome, man. We see all this energy around her, these different versions of her, and you hear voices. They're lines from the Captain Marvel movie, from her mom, and Nick Fury even, and Captain Marvel herself, Monica as a kid. I like that line that you hear Captain Marvel saying about her mom being lucky because when they were handing out kids, they gave her the toughest one. And when Monica gets through the barrier, her eyes are glowing blue. She does a kind of superhero landing. And when she's looking around, you see like this energy everywhere. It looks like you're looking through one of those weird 3D glasses things. thing. And I was like, holy shit, that was it. That was the origin of how Monica Rambeau got superpowers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She's Photon now. Or Spectrum. Probably Photon, though. I love it. And so she goes to confront Wanda, and Wanda gets pissed when she was all like, all you do is lie. I was like, whew. Yeah, alright, you pissed off the witch. Wanda tries to slam Monica into the ground, but then she's like, boom, you see that blue energy? I was like, oh shit. Even Wanda was like, huh? I mean, I don't even know if Monica knows she has powers yet. She probably doesn't. All I know now is, if I'm thinking ahead for a second, Captain Marvel 2 is going to have 3 superheroes in it. And that's pretty exciting if you ask me. So Monica's talking to Wanda. She's trying to get through to her, but then who should come along but Agnes? And she's pretty much like, all right, we're done here. Come on, Wanda. Agnes brings Wanda over to her place. Now, earlier in the episode, Agnes took the kids to her place. So now Wanda's like, where are the kids? And Agnes is like, oh, they're probably in the basement. And all right. Here we go. Wanda goes down to the basement looking for the kids, and she finds what I thought looked a lot like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, straight up. I mean, come on, with the vines and the darkness everywhere, the particles floating in the air, it looked almost exactly like the Upside Down. And she finds herself in this room, and I was looking at this room, I was like, is this the Nexus? Because the commercial break in this episode was talking about this Nexus thing, and I recognized that word because I watched the Doctor Strange 2007 animated movie. I watched it in 2016 when I was hyping up for the live-action Doctor Strange movie. And the Nexus is in there, and the Nexus, as is explained in that movie, is this hub, this place where you can go off into different universes, or different realities, different places, but it's like this hub in the center of it all. So, you know, the Nexus is like this magical place outside of different realities. So when Wanda found herself in this room, it kind of looked like a nexus of sorts. There are different doors going places, there are magical artifacts everywhere. I don't know, whatever Agnes's lair is, I imagine we'll find out more about it in the next episode. And speaking of Agnes, here we go, the big shock for this episode. She comes up with her rabbit, Senior Scratchy, and she finally reveals herself as Agatha Harkness. Yep, one of the biggest theories we fans have had since day one has been confirmed. I love it. And I actually thought Kathryn Hahn's acting here was especially good. Because she's all in control. She's like, the name's Agatha Harkness. So nice to finally meet you. And it turns out she was the true saboteur behind all the weird things that have been happening in Westview. She killed the dog Sparky, like I predicted. She conjured up Evan Peters, which I think there'll be more reasoning there. That is gonna need some explaining, because, you know, why Evan Peters of all people? And that song was super catchy too. It was Agatha all along, bum ba dum bum ba dum bum. Which, if you notice, in all the theme songs in WandaVision so far, including this Agatha song, there's always been that sequence of notes, that bum 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 bum. I read that interview with the Lopez's, and they mentioned the devil's interval in that sequence of notes, that tritone, bum bum. That's been consistent in each of the theme songs, and if you listen back to them, yeah, it totally is there. And also in this Agatha song, bum, bum, bum. It's there. First of all, I love that. That's genius songwriting. But also the fact that they mentioned that it's the devil's interval, yeah, that's another clue to Mephisto for ya. That's just genius. So yeah, all my suspicions about Agnes were completely right. Last week in her scene, she was just acting. She was acting like she was a victim, but in reality, she was completely not. Sneaky, sneaky last episode getting me to doubt myself. You played me. You played me like a fucking violin. WandaVision, you genius show, you. And so yeah, Agatha Harkness is now officially here. And she puts a spell on Wanda. You see this violet magic going into her eyes, and I was like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen? I mean, that's where the episode ends, which, yeah, that please stand by is truly the biggest villain of the show. Cause, you know, every time that comes up, we're all like, damn it, fuck. Now we gotta wait another week for the next episode and more answers. Yeah, it truly sucks. In a good way, though. Oh, but then, after the credits sequence, there's a post-credit scene. My friend who I watched the show with, he left during those credits, so he didn't even get to see it. But I stuck around. I watched it. Monica's snooping around Agnes's house, and she gets caught by Pietro. He's all like, Snooper's gonna snoop. That's a funny line. I liked it. So I feel like Monica's gonna be like a prisoner now. Pietro's gonna be like, hey, Agatha, I caught one. I feel like now it's gonna be up to Monica Rambeau, Photon, whoever, to save Wanda from this reality, which is pretty much me saying that I feel like Monica Rambeau is gonna be like the hero of this show, WandaVision. I think that's a really good twist. In WandaVision, Wanda is not the hero, she's the villain, and Monica Rambeau is the hero, and Agatha Harkness here is like another villain. So now the question is, why is Agatha doing this? Is she associated with Mephisto, or is it just her? Where are the kids, Billy and Tommy? What's Vision gonna do about it when he finds out? How are Tyler Hayward and Sword gonna play into all this? How far into Monica's powers are we going to explore by the end of this show? I don't know the answers to any of these questions, We can theorize all we want, but in the end, I'm glad we at least have Agatha Harkness revealed now. That was awesome, truly. And I feel like Catherine Hahn is just gonna own it for the next 2 episodes. I feel like she's gonna be great, because she was certainly great in this episode. She pretty much stole it for me. As for predictions for next week, I really don't know. We'll probably see the kids again. Maybe they'll finally age up again to their teenage years. Maybe. I don't know, possibly. I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket, but I'm just saying maybe. But other than those predictions, I really don't know what next week is going to entail. Aside from Aggie here possibly giving us more answers, maybe if she wants to. Also, what the hell did she do to Wanda? I don't know, but this episode certainly did it for me. It was great, it was fantastic, certainly makes up for last week. Let's get into high gear, let's wrap the show up with a bang. This is awesome! Monica Rambeau's got powers now, she's Photon or Spectrum, and Agatha Harkness is in play finally. Super ultra mega exciting. So WandaVision episode 7 titled Breaking the Fourth Wall. Have you watched it? What do you think about it? What do you think about Photon and Agatha Harkness? And what are your predictions for next week, if you have any? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.